Can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, we can see. We can start.
Yes. So, in today's session, we will be handling event registration. My bad. Event registration. Okay. So, in the beginning, event registration has forms. Okay. What is a form? Form is like a worksheet wherein you fill in some input. Correct. So we have forms everywhere, like in login, in registration, in say some requests. So everything has a form. Okay. You can also use Gmail, for example. So any login or registration requires some input from the user. Okay. So what happens in React is, okay, in normal scenarios in HTML and CSS, what happens is the browser keeps track of what the user types in. Okay, but in React, something a little different happens. Okay, React says, I will keep the track of what user types. Okay, this is called controlled component. Okay, this is a very interesting topic, and it will take in the values, and it'll evaluate it. Okay, so we can compare this to also like a toy and a remote control. Okay, like if you have the input text box or the checkbox, all these things are like toy car. Okay, and React is like the remote control. So the car or the form elements only changes only when the user inputs something. Okay, now how does it help? Okay, so in our current scenario, React, what happens is, only the value changes in the React. Okay, okay, let me get back to that. Okay, so where does this value get stored? Okay, this value gets stored in the state variable. Okay, I told you something called use state and everything, right? So this value is updated inside the React state itself. So it does not do anything, it just holds it in the variable, and then later when you click on submit, or when you click on say reset, that's when the user inputs gets changed. Okay, so we will be using React forms instead of the normal forms in this. Okay, so next comes managing multiple inputs. Okay, so you can, if you take in, for example, a registration form, you will have your first name, your last name, your preferred email address, and then your passwords, right? So all these things all these things are important, and in React everything is assigned to a single variable, not different variables. So in your normal HTML, what happens is we have an identifier or the ID for each of the text box and the label. And at the end of the, just before submit, what we do is we call a function, and then we extract all the information and send it to the backend. Whereas in React, as soon as you fill in a text box and then go to the next text box, we assign everything to a single variable, and this extracts the information automatically once you are done changing it. We use on change in order to get values immediately. Okay, so we will be using one variable, and we will have multiple sub variables. So you can imagine, in Java, what we do is, in order to access something, we say object one dot name, object two dot name, something like that. So similarly in this, what we will do is object one dot uh, or form data dot um, first name, form data dot last name, form data dot email address, so on and so forth. Okay, So, form submission handling, next concept. Form submission handling, we make use of a inbuilt attribute called on submit. Okay. So, as soon as you click on submit, submit button,
Sorry,
wo-
called what?
sir,
Makes use of what? You said? On submit.
in an attribute,
On
attribute, sir,
on submit, is it?
on submit attribute.
Okay.
So what happens is, as soon as you click on submit button, it triggers a function. Okay, that function should be user defined. Sometimes all you need to do is display an alert. Sometimes you need to verify, if all the fields are filled in or not. So all these logics we need to do it on our own. We need to define it. Whereas we have attributes uh, called on submit or on change, which helps in doing this. Okay. So next, basic validation concepts. As I told you, sometimes we need all the text box to be filled by the users. So in this case, what happens is we need to validate whether it is null or it has some variables. Say for example, in a in Gmail registration form, for the first name you need to have just characters. You cannot have numbers. Whereas in email address, you can have numbers and alphabets, but not special characters. So all these validations that can be done in our JSX file itself. So what we will do now is we have discussed all the things that we will be doing in form and user input, right? So now what we will do is we will create our own assignment. It is called event registration. Okay, event registration app. We will start doing that. Okay, so for that we will just open our GitHub link. Then here we have it in our GitHub. I'll just copy paste it into the chat so that all of you can follow along. Okay. So here we go. Desktop ReactJS. So this would be our assignment 4. Okay. So we will go back here. We will yeah. So now our npm is already installed. We will verify that as well. We will go step by step. It is installed, so we can skip step 2. We will go to step 3. So that is npx create react app assignment 4. Okay. We could also name it front end. Okay. One important thing is we will be having two sessions for this. Today we will be covering the front end portion of the forms, and tomorrow we will be covering the back end portion. Okay. So today we will learn how to handle form data, and then how to handle the validation, basic validation. Whereas tomorrow we will see how to make use of SQL to store our data. Okay. So for tomorrow, I would like you to install MySQL Workbench. Okay. I will give the link for the same thing. Let me just give the link in the chat. Oh, so MySQL Workbench. Download. Okay. So here what we can do is if you have decline all. If you have Windows, you can select the operating system, and then you can just download it, and then you could follow the instructions. It is very simple. Okay, do not opt for custom installation, whereas opt for all the default installations. Okay, since we will need most of it. Okay, so here what we will be doing is today we will just concentrate on the front end, as I told you before. So next, for step 5, it is normally the same. So step 6, we will have we will delete all the import statement, logo statement, and the statements within return function, and add a h1 tag. Okay. So we will do it. Okay, now we are done with the installation of the React app and all the dependencies. So we will say cd assignment for app and then npm start. So it will load, give it some time. So now we will go back to our Explorer, assignment for app, source, app.js. Here we will be deleting the import statement, and then we will just be, okay, let us just have the div statement, because normally we have to have two tags here. So we'll have a parent tag. So it says event registration form. Okay. Then we will go back. We have our event registration form. See, we have used div and class name app. We have it in our CSS that for this app class name, everything should be centered in the middle. So it is happening the same way. So if we remove this, it goes to the left hand side. Okay. One.jsx. Okay. So we will go back, and then we will have the export. Okay. Today we will do something like function page one of this, and then we will add export here. Export default page one. Okay. So inside this, what we will do is we will add our return statement with div tags with it. Okay. And then we need to import the reference, the page1.jsx, into our app.js. So we will be doing the same. Import and we will be adding our React. Sorry. Page one. Okay. So now comes the actual logic. Okay. So here, what we are doing is we are adding form. Okay. This particular form, what we are doing is we are using React form. Okay. But it is very similar to HTML. Okay. But we will see how we handle data differently. Okay. Here, within div tags, we will have our, we will select this. Okay. So we'll just reduce this a little. Okay. So we'll go back to our React app and see. Okay. See, everything is here. So we have three inputs, that is name of the participant, event name, and event date. Okay. So here we have our ID, participant name, and event date. Okay. So, everything is on a single level, correct? Everything is like automatically smushed together. But this doesn't look presentable in normal case scenarios, correct? So, in order to not smush it together and it to be a little bit more readable, we will make use of CSS. Okay. So now we will go back here in CSS. Then, okay, we will come to app.css later. First, we will try to um, add the other logics. Okay, so for validation, we will be adding the minimum date to be today. So see here, now you can select an event from 1st of February and then register. But that's not what we want. So the date should be a minimum date. There should be a minimum date. Say we have an event today. So you can attend events from today onwards. Correct? It shouldn't go back. You should not be able to say for today's date, you cannot say, oh, I attended this, so I will register for an event that occurred on 1st of February or 10th of February or whatever. So that's not right. So here is where validation comes into picture. Okay. So what we will do is we will go to the event date. Here we will have min is equal to, we will be calling a variable called today. Okay. So that variable we will be defining before return. So what we will do is const date is equal to new date. Okay. Okay. So let us say today itself. Okay. Let us see if it works. Okay. So here, if you click on, it doesn't work. You can still select things from the previous day. So what is happening is new date normally gives you the day, the year, the time, everything. But we do not need all those, correct? And we need it in this format, date, month, and year format. So we will see console.log. Let's do and see what exactly is getting displayed here. Okay. We will say Control Shift I. That is the shortcut for opening up the inspect element. Okay.
Sorry, what is the
So
shortcut? Control Shift
Control Shift I.
I, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just write it in the chat. Debugging in browser Chrome. Control Shift I. Yeah. So normally what happens is if you click on Control Shift I, it'll come to elements. So just select the console tab. And then now you can see you have Thursday, February 19, 2026, and the time and the time zone, everything is getting displayed. But we do not need all that. And also we need only February 19, 2026 in this format. So what we will do is we will do something called const today one. Okay. We will do something called, we will make use of fun function called to ISO string. Okay. That is the standard string function. Okay. It will convert the string to standardize this one. Okay. ISO string. So log of today one. Okay. Let us see what gets displayed. Okay, wait. Too many things. Okay. See, now we have it in the format year, month, and date. Correct? But we still have the time, that is 145702. Okay? This 145702 is for the Greenwich Meridian time. Okay? GMT plus 0. Okay? See, as you can see, the local time would be 1557 and the GMT time would be 1457. Okay?
Wait a minute. The local
So,
time is 15:57 because you are from Europe, right? Hmm.
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but whereas in India it would be say 827,
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
night 827. So
Right.
here what is happening is, there is also time that is being displayed. We do not need the time. So what we do is we split it now. So we will say const today 2. We will make use of today 1, and then we will split it. So we will split it into two things. Okay. So how can we split it? As you can see here, no, just a moment. Huh. If you can see here, there is the letter T. Okay. So we can split this particular string, part of the array, and this will become the second part of split of T. Okay. So now we will console log this. Console.log of today 2. Okay. So we will see. So for that, what we do here is we will have another const today 3, today 2 of 0. Okay, and then we will console log it. Okay, see here. Hmm. Okay, so here again today 1, today 2, and today 3. You can also say time if required, but we do not require a time because we already would know the time at which it occurs. Okay, so what we will do here is we will replace the min value to today 3. Okay, and then we will see what happens here. We will go back here to our event registration. Moment, something is happening. Why is it not expanding? Okay. Okay. We will go back here and then click, and you can see you cannot select any previous dates. Correct? Nothing. Only from 19th and above. Everything else is blurred out. So, which is good for us. Okay. Likewise, we can also set a maximum date, but we will not worry about that right now because we are not doing the upper, this one, upper value. We're just doing the lower value. Okay. So, next, what we will do is we will be adding value to each of the attribute here. Okay. So, what happens here is you need to assign a default value to our input statements, input tags. Okay. So, what we will do is we will assign it a value. Okay. Value is equal to participant name. Okay. So for example, here we can see, right? Participant name. Okay. So participant name. We will just have participant name for one now, and then we will. Oh, Wait. Okay. Okay. Then the value for event name would be event name. And event date would be again event date. So let's go back and see. See, now you can have a default value here, correct? So whenever we fill it out and whenever we submit it, it will automatically get updated. Okay. So adding attribute types. Okay. Here we will be adding type called submit, and here a type called reset. Okay. Now we added our form. Now we need to add the logic to handle the user input. Correct? Make you initial values before we do anything. Okay. So import use state from React. Okay. So, so in normally in HTML, as I told you previously, in HTML we will handle each and every text, user input text as a different variable itself. But in React, what we do is we group it together. We group all the forms together, all the input together, called form data, and then we make use of this for everything else. Okay, so that handling is easier, and the React knows all these things in form data in this particular thing needs to go together. Okay, so what we will do is we will create it. Okay, so we will say const of form data comma set form data is equal to use state. And now we will make use of the IDs that we created: event name, event participant name, and event date. Okay, we have a warning here. So it says form data is assigned a value but never used. Okay, we will come back to that later. Okay, so as and when we progress, there will be number of warnings as well, because we cannot use it immediately as soon as we declare it, right? So what we will do is we will try to complete our complete project and then come into warnings. Okay, come to resolve the warnings. Okay, now as I told you, we have something called on change attribute. So whenever the user types in something into the input text, we can trigger on change. So what we can do here is we will go
value for that particular
Yes, exactly. So any input field should have the value. Okay, it is first step of basic validation. Okay, so now what we can do is we have our handle change. Okay, so what we will do is we'll copy it and paste it for all the labels. Okay, on change, and then here as well on change. Okay, nothing else is left. So now we need to create the logic for on change. Okay, so this would be a function, and this function handle change. Okay, then what is the handle change? It is kind of an event. Whatever we do, it is an event. So we pass this event as the parameter to the function. Okay, event. And then what we do here is we have our form data. Correct. So what we need to do is form data is already something we have assigned. Say here we have assigned default value to it. Correct. But we need to now update the value of the data, form data. Correct. So now what we use is we use set form data. Okay, set form data, and then within this we have our logic. Okay, so what happens is this. Okay, we are using this one, form data. Okay, what this means is this line 22 means store all the previously entered data. So for example, if you are changing only this name of the participant to MR, oh, we will come to that. Okay, so say for example, we are changing only name of the participant text box, then um, all the others shouldn't trigger a reset in the value. Correct? Its value should be retained. Okay, so in order to do that, we use this. Okay, you can it is more like, okay, remember the previously
Can you
entered.
repeat that? Why do you use? Is it three dots?
Yes, it is three dots followed by form data. So basically,
Can you just repeat again? Mhm.
it is used to retain all the previously entered values, whether be it default values, whether be it user input values. It
Okay.
says for all the other variables or all the other inputs, please restore the same. Only change for the value that I'm providing.
Okay.
So that would be event dot target dot id and event dot target dot value. Say here. Okay, so what this actually means is this particular will store all the data. Okay, it will not change any other data except the value of the input field that is being changed. So here for example, we are trying to change, say, event name. We have already done with participant name. So event name, we have to give the value. So for that, participant name value shouldn't disappear. So if we use three dots and form data, it means retain the value for the name of the participant field, but this means event.target.id. So that means this one, change the value for event name text box to the user changed input. Okay, we have to restore everything previously to that. So this is what this means. Okay, we will see it when we are trying to change it. Okay, okay, now so here now you can see that I am unable to change my value in the input field. Correct? What is happening here is all of this is form data. All of this is considered form data, whereas our value is participant name. So in order to connect the value here in the input field to the value of form data, we need to add something here. Okay, instead of participant name, what we add is flower brackets form data dot participant name. Okay, so what it does, it relates to it. Okay, so there forms a connection between this and this. Okay, okay, wait, let me just refresh. Okay, so now we do not have any default value. Okay, we are just saying here we have assigned the default value for participant name to null, right? So we can also say please enter your name. See, we have that here, correct? So we are forming a correlation between form data and the text box in value. Okay. So again, in the similar way, we are going to do for everything else. Okay. And here as well.
So why
Okay.
the
So
use?
now,
Okay, so what's the use of on change? I didn't get that. Why we are using on
okay.
change function?
Yeah. I will show it to you. Please enter the event name and this would be a default ddmmyy. Okay. Okay, wait. Yeah, it's built successfully. Okay, so let me just completely open my screen. Okay, so we have our default value set here, correct? So on change, what happens is I want to change the name of the participant right now.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just do one thing. I will just try to handle change. Um, console.log form data. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, so our console.log.
Could you please little maximize the screen?
Yeah, just a moment. Responsive. Mm. The point is, what is happening is once we try to. Okay. Now you can see.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a moment. There has been some issue. It is not reloading at all. I will try to open it up again. Mm, why is it not loading? Okay, I will just restart the server again. Okay, just give me some time. Hmm. Yeah, now we can see. Okay, so so handle change. Okay, form data. What we are okay, we will do one thing. Just give me a moment. I will do something here. Okay, I will. Yeah, before changing the handle, I would want to do this. I will just comment out everything. Okay, this. Okay, so now you can. Okay, so now you can see, right, what the form data is having.
Yes,
Please
yes.
enter your default values that you have assigned here in your form data,
Yeah,
correct? Line 16 to
yeah,
18 that are getting displayed. Okay, so
yeah.
here if I say MRUDULA, are you seeing what exactly is happening? So every
Yes, yes.
time there is a new character entered, it is getting automatically displayed here, correct? So
Okay.
every time there is a change in input, the handle change function is getting called. So that is the um, the that is why we are using on change. So every time there's a single change, doesn't matter if it is a space, if it is a backslash, every time there's a change, the value of the participant name automatically gets updated. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So let's say you don't want to give in name of the participant. Okay. You just want even name to change. Okay. Say React JS for beginners. Okay. You can see here that only the event name value gets changed, but
Yes.
participant name remains the same. So that's the use of dot 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 form data.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens is only for the particular thing that I have tried to select or change the data, only that particular value changes. Okay. Say for example, now event date is also empty. So let me try to change the event date. I will click on that and say 22nd. It is on 22nd. So what happens is, please enter your name remains the same. The React JS for beginner remains the same. Only the date value changes. Correct? You see that?
Okay.
Yeah. So dot 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 form data just preserves your previously input data or whatever the default data is, and then tries to update only the data for which it was triggered.
Okay.
Okay. Only the field
Yeah.
for
Oh,
which it was triggered. Okay.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So now we have to handle submit. Okay. So what happens when you try to submit? It should submit something or display something, correct, for us, for the user to get to know. So for that, what we do is we have an attribute called on submit. Okay. So on submit, we will create a function called handle submit. Just like how we did handle change, we will be having handle submit. Okay. So now what we will do is we will go back here. We will have function handle submit event. So there is one important thing here also. Okay. We have something called event dot prevent default. Okay. So sometimes what happens is when you're trying to enter data, okay, and moving into the next one, sometimes it might automatically trigger a refresh response. Okay. So if it automatically triggers a refresh response when you click on submit, it shouldn't clear out the uh, user entered name, correct? Okay. Are you understanding what I'm trying to explain? So whenever you click on submit, the response might be a little delayed. Okay, in normal scenarios, what happens is it needs to establish connection to the database and then trigger a response and then go submit the value into it. Okay, so it might take a little bit of more time. So in order to not have data loss from the user, what we do is we have something called event.prevent default. So until there is a response back from the server, we are not going to clear the inputs. Okay. So in order to do that, we use something called event.prevent default. Okay. So now what we will do is we will just put up an alert. Okay. So everything was being displayed anta. So everything is done. Now what we need to do is we need to just announce to the user that your data has been submitted. Okay. That is what we are going to do. Okay. And we will also have something called reset. Okay. On reset is equal to, because when you try to reset something, it should change, correct? The reset button should be of some use. So handle reset. Okay. And then we add a function for that as well. Handle reset event on data event name, and then event date here. Okay. So we will bring it back to our default value that we have here. Okay. So we will go here and check if it works. Yeah, it did. So what we will do is, okay, for handle reset, we will just change this to, just for our reference here. Okay. Okay. So we will reset. See, if we reset it, it is working. Correct. So now what we will say is participant name is Mrudula and event name is ReactJS. Okay. And then we will try to click on submit. It says please fill in the field. So say I will fill in the field as 20th, and then I will remove this and then submit. Please fill in the field. So now React.js and now submit. Please fill in the field. So basically required is working fine. Okay. So now we will say submit. See, form submitted successfully. Rudula has registered for React.js on to 2026 0 to 20. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to reset it. Okay. See, reset works perfectly. So until now, all our functions, everything is working fine. Okay. So any doubts?
So what is that? Why we are typing again for handle reset? Like the parameters we typed.
Yeah.
Default
So
one.
handle reset is also a kind of an event, right? It triggers an event.
Yes, yes.
So whatever we do in our forms, it is always due to some event, say key down or backslash or an enter or a mouse click. Everything is an event, right? So any kind of
Yes, yes.
event that triggers this will have the same, it will have to do certain things. So that is what we are trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that function? Prevent default. What was the use you told? I didn't get you that.
Okay. So basically, what happens is whenever you click on submit, right? Just a moment, sorry. Okay. Whenever you click on submit in real world scenario, right? What
Oh,
happens is, it there might be a lag. For now, there is no lag as such. Okay. So we could
okay.
try to do this. Doesn't matter. Okay. But what happens in real world scenarios is it will establish a connection to the database, trigger an
Okay.
API. It has to get stored in the database, and then we'll have to get something. Okay, it might be
Okay.
just a few milliseconds for us, whereas for the computer it is a very long time. So before we get a response, if the
Oh,
form data gets if the form data gets cleared, then there might be data loss. Correct.
okay.
You have to ask the user to type in again and again. So until you get the response from the server, we will not clear the
Okay.
data. So that's why we are using prevent data. Okay. Now I've taken
Okay.
out the prevent default, this one, prevent default. So now let us try again. Okay. And let us say today's date and submit. Okay. See, it automatically got reset, correct? All the data got automatically reset.
Yes, yes.
You saw that, right?
Yes, yes.
So, in order to prevent that, we are doing this. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So, any other questions? No? All clear?
So was that why we used on change as handle change parameter?
So, on change. Oh, okay. So, it doesn't know what to do. We need to create a logic anyhow. Okay. So, what we are doing
Okay.
is we are just calling a function. Else, here, if you see, if you say, on change, you need to give the logic here, and you have to give it multiple times. Like for each input field, you have to give it multiple times, correct?
Yes, yes.
So every time if you start giving, then the computation time might be longer. Since ours is a small project, it might be negligible, but still there will be some delays. So instead,
Okay.
you can have the reusable code, right? We can create a
Yeah.
reusable code. So not only here, say if we wanted an app.js as well, we just need to import it and then start using it.
Yes.
So it is easier. That is it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if you do not have any other question, we will end the session for today. And tomorrow we will be looking at the back end. Okay. How to get this set in, how to store these values that whatever whichever we have input into our database. Okay. For that, we will be using MySQL Workbench. We have it in my system. Okay. But I would like you to install it if possible. Okay. We'll be working with MySQL Workbench tomorrow. Okay. Okay. So we will end the session for today. If you do not have any other questions, then we'll see tomorrow. Okay.
So what was that event dot target dot id colon event dot target dot value?
Okay. So when you try to change this one, say for example, event ID, event name, sorry, it's too much expanded. Okay. So let's hear. So whenever you try to change it, each of this has an ID and each of
Yeah.
this will have a different value. Correct?
Okay.
So when we are trying to change this, what we are doing here is we are restoring all the previous data and we are
Okay.
saying this event's target, that would be the ID called participant name. So here
Okay.
it would be form data dot participant name is equal to the user given
Oh,
value. So that would be, say
okay.
for example, my name Mridula or Pranav or Gayatri. So like that.
Okay.
So that is just for this one. So as and when the ID changes and the value changes, it will also automatically get updated on its own.
So ID means like what actually?
Here we have our ID, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
one. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, then we will end today's session. It's already 9. So we will continue with the backend tomorrow. Okay. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Okay, bye, ma'am.